What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be reading you a hate letter that I got in the mail, but this video was already filmed last week because I get these kinds of comments all of the time. And yes, some of them are really vile and really awful and judgmental and shitty. Some of you guys are just genuinely curious if I am afraid to share so much of my past online because I have kids. And you ask me these questions all the time, not in a negative way. That's why I already made this video. I've gotten asked everything under the sun, from are you afraid to share your life online? Do you worry about your kids knowing about your past? Do you tell your kids about your past? Are you afraid that your kids' friends' parents are gonna hear about your past and not trust you or not want their kids around you? Are you afraid that future employers are gonna see this? So that's what I'm gonna share with you guys today, and I'm also gonna read this letter to you and we're gonna have an open conversation about it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. This has nothing to do with the video, but I also got this in my P.O. box this weekend. I think it's so cute. I'm a big fan of trees, and anytime you guys draw anything for me or send me things like this, I absolutely love it. So thank you so much, Luca. I love this. I'm gonna put it on my wall. So like I said, I already filmed this video a couple weeks ago because this is a comment that I get a lot. It's also a hate comment that I get a lot. So either you're asking me because you're just curious if I'm afraid, or you're shaming me, mom shaming me, judging me, telling me this is bad, telling me that I am exploiting my past, or telling me that my children are gonna grow up and see this online. So let me read you this letter, and then I'm gonna share my thoughts with you guys. It was sent to me without a return address. It was sent December 18th. I don't check my P.O. box often. It's kind of far from my house. And it was sent from Sacramento, California. The person did not write it in their own handwriting. I'm just gonna cover their name. They typed it, so I'm gonna read it to you guys. And when I was reading this letter, I was actually in the hair salon, because anytime I have extra time, I will read the mail that you guys send me. And I'm glad this was the last letter I read so that I can enjoy all of the amazing letters and cards that you sent me before I got to this one. Weird how it was the last one that I read. But dear Miss Kent, I have viewed your videos on YouTube and I am quite frankly alarmed by the magnitude of information you openly share with tons of strangers. My concern isn't for your well-being since you're an adult. I am concerned about the impact on your two daughters who can't advocate for themselves and rely on their parents to use good judgment and be responsible adults. Your thirst for attention and admiration is impairing your better judgment. Your daughters will eventually be at the age where their friends can use Google to find out more about them, and the parents of those friends will likely have already done that because this is the age of technology and social media and oversharing. You may be comfortable with sharing your addictions to meth and heroin and being a former inmate, but do you honestly believe for 1 second that your daughters won't feel the excruciating sting of hearing from their friends they know about your ugly past? The parents of that friends are not going to be comfortable with their children socializing with an admitted drug dealer. You divulge information about your eldest daughter, Micah, like she is just a character in the book of your past and present. It's completely reckless to reveal stories of you giving birth to her in prison and information about her as you refer to him as baby daddy. She is too young to make any decisions or give consent to you to hustle your story in front of the world. You come across as still being an addict, addicted to attention, and it appears you're caught up with the feedback you get from your viewers. It should be embarrassing to you to be thanking for 99 cents, 2.99 cents, and even giving special thanks to your friend G-Man for the $50, etc. G-Man never gave me 50 bucks. I cringe and have secondhand embarrassment for you when you do that crackhead type of behavior because your daughters will see it one day. Don't capitalize on your past by exploiting your children, as well as leading young viewers who are troubled and easily influenced to think that you care about them by telling them you love them when they PayPal you chump change. If you really care about helping people, get off mass media and help your community in a humble, productive, and genuine way. Stop seeking worldwide validation. Please take into consideration what future you're creating for your daughters. That should be firsthand and foremost over any artificial fame or pseudo power on YouTube. Regards, Nancy Reagan. So Yeah, I get comments like that all the time. So to answer that simply, I am not afraid to share my past with my children. I already do so. I already tell my kids about my past in age-appropriate ways, of course. I think it is so important to have an open and honest household. I didn't grow up in a household where we talked about mental health, where we talked about addiction, and we talked about the true weight of the consequences of our actions. I didn't grow up in a household where I could go to my parents and say, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry. I didn't grow up in a household where if I made a mistake, the first thought on my mind was, oh my gosh, I messed up. I need to call my parents. My first thought was, my parents are gonna kill me. And that is the home that I desperately do not want to have. My children are not gonna grow up in a household where their first thought if they make a mistake is my parents are gonna kill me. Their first thought will be, I need to call my parents. They're gonna grow up in a household where their parents made mistakes and the people that they love and trust, Reese and I, are going to be able to advocate for them, tell them that it's okay to make mistakes, tell them about addiction and mental health so that if they struggle in high school or later in life, they will know that the people that they trust and love the most can give them accurate information. The story of giving birth to my daughter in prison is so important to share, not for me, so that people understand how women are treated in prison. There are women all over this country that have given birth alone in a jail cell. It's happened in Colorado, it's happened in New Jersey, it happens all of the time. It is important to give a voice to those that don't have a voice. It's important to stand up for people that otherwise can't stand up for themselves. It's important to teach our children about addiction and mental health and prison and how to combat all of the obstacles that are placed in our path. Are my kids gonna make mistakes? Yes, they are. But I want them to trust me and come to me with those mistakes. I want them to know that it's okay to mess up, that we all do. That's just part of being human. I really want to tell you guys a story. This weighs on my heart so heavily, and this hits so close to home for me that I'm gonna have a hard time sharing this story without crying. When I was 14 years old, I was drunk at a party, and all of the people that I was with were also underage, a little older than me, but underage. And no one in that group thought, we messed up. We have to get home. We need to call our parents. Not one kid I was with, not one teenager that I was with thought, I need to call my parents. So my friends called another friend of ours to come pick us up. We were listening to music really loudly. We were dancing. We were drinking in the car and having a good time. Someone hit us head on, and a friend of mine was killed because a group of 5 teenagers didn't feel safe enough to call their parents. That is why it is so important to raise our children in homes they feel safe, in homes where they know if they messed up, they can call their parents for help. Because I'll be damned if my kid gets into a car with someone that's been drinking because they were too afraid to call me. And I wish I had these videos when I was in addiction. I was not only in addiction, but there were times where I was suicidal. There were times where I couldn't even stomach or fathom the thought of getting out of bed. I was broken, I was alone, and I had nowhere else to turn. I had never seen anyone beat drug addiction. I had never seen anyone get out of my small town and become someone that others looked up to. I had never seen anyone do well around me. My circle was negative. My circle was petty. My circle was just not wise. My mother also battles with mental health. And when I was growing up, I didn't feel like I could tell her anything. That changed in my early 20s. I started to go to my mom more often, but I wish that was different when I was a teenager. I wish I had someone that I could trust and go to. My dad did not believe in therapy. My stepmom pushed for me to go to therapy, which I'm grateful for. My dad just grew up in an era where we didn't talk about our feelings, and my dad didn't see the value of me going to therapy. He thought there was nothing wrong with me. He thought I didn't need it. He thought that we could just not talk about it and it would go away. Ultimately, that was a bad decision. It didn't just go away. It got worse. I think we need to be a little bit more kind and a little less judgmental, especially to parents. Moms are shamed every single day. I'm shamed every day on YouTube, and now I'm even getting mom shamed in the mail. If you love your kids, if your kids are taken care of, if they're fed, if there's a roof over their head, and you're trying, and you're concerned for their well-being, then you are doing an amazing job. Don't let people shame you into thinking that you are not a good mother because there's some dishes in the sink, the house is dirty, or maybe the kids haven't taken a bath in a couple days. Don't let other women mom shame you. Women need to start coming together and they need to start empowering other women. Stop mom shaming. Stop putting down other mothers. Stop putting down women. Stop telling people that they're doing it wrong. There's no manual on how to be a parent. Kids don't come with instructions. It's hard as hell, and trust me, every single parent is concerned if they're doing a good job. I don't know if my way is the right way to do it. All I know is that I have to do it to the best of my ability. It is my responsibility to raise stable, happy, healthy, kind children. That is my mission. To make sure that my kids are okay and they grow up in a home that is trusting, in a home that is open, a home that they feel safe. And if they make a mistake, I better be that first call. I really hope that something I said in this video spoke to you or inspired you or encouraged you to maybe not judge that mom that you see running through Walmart with a screaming toddler and a top knot bun and she's tired and there's probably puke on her shirt, because that mom was me when Riley was 1 year old. I was exhausted. People were telling me that I wasn't doing it right, and I was in full-blown postpartum depression when Riley was born. You have no idea what's going on inside of our minds. We need to end the stigma on mental health, talk about it more, and raise our children with the knowledge of how to express their emotions, how to reach out for help. And mental health is just as important as our physical health. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober. Let's end the stigma of mental health and mom shaming. And I will see you guys in my next video.